Hi, this is Sandy with Ice Resin, and today we're going to be talking about connecting chain. There's a lot of different chains on the market. Most base metal chains or chains that you purchase in the store aren't soldered, so they have an opening that make them easy to open and close. See, this one has the little opening there. You want to use 2 pairs of pliers, one on either side of the opening, and you want to use a twisting motion. You want to try and fatigue the metal as little as possible. You want to try and open it as small as possible and still be able to get your chain off and whatever you're going to place on without having to put too much pressure on this bend. So let's say I wanted to use this as the chain for one of my pendants. Here's a pendant. Then you simply just slip it onto the pendant and use your same pliers to go ahead and close it. And sometimes I'll go back just to make sure that my gap is closed properly. I'll just squeeze it with my pliers, and then you have your chain attached to your pendant. Now there are some chains that come that are soldered already, and the only way that you can open them is simply by cutting them. You have several options, but one of those options is to use a piece of wire. So what I like to do is take a piece of wire. This is a piece of brass wire that's been annealed, so the color's changed a little bit. You want to use a pair of round nose pliers, and you want to make a bend in your pliers. When I make my loop, I like to take my fingernail and push it in just so that I end up with a nice perfect circle when I'm making my loop. It's not necessary, I think it just makes it look nice. So then you can use this to attach to your chain. And so then you've got your loop attached to your chain. And then you can go back with your pliers again and just hold your loop and then just wrap it. I usually wrap it once or twice just to secure it, make sure it's not going to go anywhere. And then I use flush cut pliers to make sure I get a nice close cut. And then just to be sure that this little spot isn't going to be pokey or catch on anything, I like to use my crimping pliers to go back and just squeeze it. They seem to fit perfect around that loop, and they work well for pushing that little piece in. So now I've got it connected to my chain, but now I need to connect my chain to a pendant. So I'm going to make another loop with my same round nose pliers. Again, I'm going to make my loop, and I'm going to do it pretty close, and again push it in so that we get that nice little circle. And then you can just simply thread it through your pendant. And so now I've got it threaded through my pendant. And at this point you can decide sort of what you want this to look like. If you want a big fat wrap, then you can hammer your wire out flat at this point so that you get that bird's nest wire look. You can wrap it just once or twice just to keep the wire really simple. Once it's wrapped, you can tie a little piece of fiber or something around it. This one I think I'm just going to make a little bit messy and, kind of go back and forth a little bit on it. And then so now I've got my chain attached to my pendant. I'm going to go back in and cut it with my flush pliers. And then finally I'm going to go back in with my crimping pliers and just give it a little pinch just to make sure that's nice and soft. And now I've got my chain attached, and I would just do that a second time if I wanted 2 pieces of the same chain coming off of here. Of course you could use something different. You could use a piece of fiber or leather, whatever you wanted. So those are some ways that you can attach chain to a pendant. And thanks for joining us.